It's that time again. Main Man T. Back for the Bro Code Podcast. Produced by Kennedy Lucas.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting episode podcast today. This is the Bro Code Podcast. I'm Kennedy, I gotta steal this. Your humble, healthy, is that what you say? That's what you were saying. Podcast host, Terry Tires Lester, y'all. Welcome back to another exciting episode. Yes, episode 2. We back into the studio. Y'all like the new intro we got from Commercial Kings. Shout out to them. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope y'all had a fantastic, and we do mean this, a fantastic week this week. We hope that you guys like our content that we've got, not only for this episode, the Bro Code Podcast, but from K.L.P. Aftermath at the beginning of the week. And then, of course, I saw it. What had happened was Kennedy, you and Evelyn did a fantastic episode yesterday. Guys, let me just express to you how important that show is to us at K.L.P. Entertainment. That show is amazing, right? To see you two go at it. Y'all put your thoughts into it. You bring everything into the show, and everybody loves it on media. So very, very, very humble and excited for that. We are glad to be back here in the studio to give y'all yet another exciting episode, another exciting podcast. I would tell you, Kennedy, people outside today and the whole week has been spectacular. When it comes down to the weather, y'all, I'm here for it. I'm here for the weather. I'm here for the sunshine, the feel good, outside, going to the park, going to a cookout type weather. I do say that to our audiences to make sure that everybody stay nice and comfortable and healthy, drink plenty of water, because, the weather is changing. It's getting rather warm out there, but it feels good. It feels good to see that. Like I say, Kennedy, I just want to say, because I think Evelyn and the Lucas Tribune host in the studio and in their offices wishes you a very congratulations. So I want to do that publicly here on the Bro Code Podcast to say congratulations to your sister, D'Amber and Jake. Recently got married, and then you were there at the wedding, and I saw you looking spiffy in that suit too. Don't think we can forget about it, Kennedy. That suit that you rocking with the bow tie, the shades, looking like James Bond, looking like Shaft, looking like a man with a plan, Men in Black. You look good. But shout out to your family. Congratulations. That looks like you guys had a ball. So we'd love to see it. We'd love to see the family growth. We'd love to see it. So congratulations for that as well. Like I say, weather's good. Weather has been very, very nice out here, y'all. And it's nice, but I kind of understand it, Kenny. Now, for our audience, real quick, we like to tell stories on here. I get it. I understand when folks wash their vehicles, right? You take it to the car wash, you get it detailed, you wipe it down, and you really get it cleaned up. Now, my car is amazing. I think, Kennedy, you might win in a nice car with your Beamer, but, we got a nice luxury type car, too. I understand the pollen starting to creep on in here, primarily with white cars. So me and you both, Kennedy, we both got white cars. And to see the yellow on that car, to see the yellow breezing in on the hood, and you see a little bit, and then you get agitated because you just washed it. I completely understand when it comes down to the pollen that's getting in there. A lot of folks going to be in the car wash. This is the car wash season, right? Car washing out here. They're going to make the bank for the spring and the summertime because people primarily wash their cars within these two seasons the most. Hot springtime, hot summertime, you want to pull up the car, you want to show off for the summertime. I get it. And, Kennedy, we both car enthusiasts out here in the world. We go out there, we do our thing, and we like to take care of our vehicles, and we like to wash them. We like to detail them. We like to wipe it down. We have a no food eating policy in the car. We got a no seat adjustments in the car. I'm one of them. I get it. I'm one of those those type of car enthusiasts that I take very good care of my vehicle and just see that the pollen's creeping up on there. I don't know what it is. It's something that is just impactful for a lot of dudes out there. And I have a feeling that a lot of people, primarily my dudes, is going to be out there when it comes down to it. Now, I segue into cars because we did see a review from a lot of YouTubers out there as of recently. Now, I wanted to talk about the what is that? The BMW i7, the all-electric type vehicle that's out there today. And I wanted to talk about it as a review because, we both, Kennedy and me, you both got BMWs. I've got more of a gray. You got a white one. And we saw a YouTube channel about the BMW i7 as we were talking. So I thought, for Bro Code Podcast, it might be fitting to talk about it. And I saw reviews on it. Looks nice. I don't really like the interior. I've seen it to where those interiors of those i7s, this luxury sedan electric vehicle, they had more of a cloth type feeling to the interior of the BMWs. Don't understand it. Don't get it. The cloth seems like it will get messy. This is the car that I would not suggest you get for family. Especially if you have small kids that don't know the appreciation of vehicles because they're small kids and they eat in there. They might bring some mud in there. They might smear the seats all around. I can only see that those cars the cloth in type of those vehicles, I can only see of it getting messy, right? I can only see that it's going to be a big mess. It's going to be a tough thing to clean out if you do it. I would say to a lot of car owners and car enthusiasts, especially when you get another luxury type new car, always go for the leather. You can't go wrong with leather because if you mess it up, it's easy to clean. I do like it how techy it is, though. I saw one review. We went through reviews. I saw one review for Marquez's. One of his channels is called Autofocus. Good channel, by the way. And he reviewed the i7, and the amount of space that you get in that vehicle is quite nice. I always say, though, especially with electric vehicles, when electric vehicles are big, you can only imagine how the charge is going to be, right? Because there's a lot of BMWs that have like the SUV type BMWs that are also electric. And then you wonder how much power does it take from the battery? How long will it take for it to charge up with a vehicle of that size, right? Versus the coupe, where the coupe charges, but then it's not so gigantic. So that's the one thing a lot of people got to understand, especially with this new i7 that's out. It's long. It's very, very long. I do like it to where it has shaders. I do like it that it has buttons that the doors automatically open and close by itself. I think that is a very nice touch. I think this vehicle honestly would have had a chef's kiss if it had frameless windows. Now, Kennedy, I do know in yours is frameless windows and frameless doors. Those are just so sleek, right? You look like they've got to be very, very careful with those frameless doors. Like you got to be extremely careful. But with the new i7s that are out there now, they don't have the frameless doors. They have the one, like just the normal doors. But then Marquez Brownlee on Autofocus's YouTube channel, he said, which makes sense because when you close the door that is not a frameless door on those newer BMWs, you don't hear the road, you don't hear your engine, you don't hear anything. It's quiet. It's like super, super silent. It's as if you're not even driving. It's as if you're just like staying still, not making any noise, but your car is moving. Like I say, interesting colors that they have for the i7 sedans. Again, I think it's a poor choice when it comes down to the cloth. One more thing that I noticed that they have, Marquez reviewed on his, the TV screen in the back, they say it's full 4K screenage. I doubt it because with streaming, you don't really get that true 4K if you're streaming something. I think the big TV in the back seat is a little bit excessive, is a little bit too much. I'm, for one, who get motion sickness as well, so I don't think it's really worth it to be watching TV in the back of this type of sedan. I just feel like it's a little bit too much to where, you're streaming a show in the back seat, and maybe I can kind of see this if you have kids and they like to be entertained in the back while you're driving. I completely understand it. I'm sure in the rearview mirrors on the front seat, they have it to where it's digital, where there's a camera pointing towards the back and it's digital that way because this is a luxury type electric vehicle from BMW. So I'm not surprised if they had something of this caliber. I see motion sickness is what I say from this, right? It is weird because when you watch, if you go on a flight, right, you're watching a movie right on the screen there, but you're on a fly and it's movement, but there's not so much of movement as it is driving. But I'm for one who get motion sickness quite easily, right? To a certain degree, right? In the office, we got this new virtual reality, the Meta Quest, and I don't get motion sickness for that. But if I'm on my phone and if I'm not driving in the car, if I'm a passenger or on the passenger seat of somebody's car and we're riding somewhere and I'm on the phone, yeah, I'm going to get motion sickness. Don't know what it is. It's just something that I do, so I don't really look at the phone. So, like I say, it might work for some people. That vehicle is ranging over $100,000, so it is luxury. You will pay for that. So, to each his own, really, about your car buying habits and what you want to buy. But it's one of those things that people go out there and they get. So, moving on to a juicy topic of conversation, because here on the Bro Code Podcast, we like to develop stories that really gets people going. Now, the question that I ask a lot of people, and this is open-ended question, really, do women really need more sleep than men? Sleep myths to debunk, of course. Most people spend about a third of our lives sleeping. But you may need more or less than 8 hours a night. I would tell you guys, it is perfect that I have 8 hours of sleep. Now, some people might say that's a little bit too much. Some people say that that's not enough, right? A good, effective amount of sleep does work wonders, right? Kennedy put me onto this thing to where, I have also have the Therabody sleep mask, the massager, and the sleep mask is as well to help me with better sleep at night. And it's been working, right? And it's just been something that we've been experiencing a whole lot. Now, I would think while most people will clock between, let's say, about 7 to 9 hours a night, experts out there in the world, they say that the real question is whether you feel, rested. Now, sleep, despite its vital roles in our health, it remains something of a mystery, right? Now, of course, there's been studies, there's been sleep specialists all over universities that's been studying the form of good active sleeping. Now, sleep quality over quantity, really, there's a study that came out from Molly Atwood. And she is a behavioral sleep medicine clinic at Johns Hopkins. Now, she points out that about 7 to 9 hour range is associated with few health problems. Now, simply hitting that number doesn't guarantee you're truly rested, but persisting on sleep quality over quantity is key, is what she said in that research. She also said that through further research is needed to fully understand the complexities of sleep and its impactfulness of well-being. And people ask that question, do women need more sleep than men? I honestly, and this is just me, this is just my opinion, y'all. I don't know fact by fact on this. But you got to think of it. For us bros, you got to think of it for our ladies out there. Especially if you are dating someone or you're married to someone who had children, women go through a lot, right? As much as some men out there don't want to really believe it, women go through a lot. They go through pregnancy. They go through body changes. They're going through periods, right? They're going through hygiene changes. They're going through hormonal effects, right? They're going through a whole lot to where their bodies take a toll on themselves. Not to mention if they work a full-time job and being a stay-at-home mom. And I'm just talking to the people who, the mothers and the the ladies out there who have kids, they run their bodies through a lot. Now, once people either dip, let's say, 6 hours of sleep to get more than 9 hours on average, I would say that the risk health problems inches up with that. When you're trying to figure out how much sleep you need, I would say it's important to think about the quality of it, right? If someone tells me that they sleep more hours, but they wake up tired, something is wrong. And that's what a lot of people would say, right? I've had it to where back then, before I used Therabody and medicine to help me sleep, I would sleep a lot and then wake up still tired. But then I hear the saying from doctors, and they say, hey, you're sleeping too much. That's why your body is tired of sleeping. That's why you're tired. The amount of sleep we need changes throughout our life. Newborns, I would say they need between 14 to 17, give or take. And then as you get older, you increase that down or decrease it down to about 10 and maybe 8. They do say you can survive on a 5-hour sleep. I don't know how people do that. Some people do it, but 5 hours of sleep, they say that's all you need to feel well rested and doing their thing. Now, there's another study that came out. The National Sleep Foundation, they recommend adults between 26 and 64 to sleep between 7 and 9 hours of sleep. Now, people who are 65 and older can get slightly less, and the young adults between 16 and 25 can get slightly more. So I think that's good enough. 7 to 9 hours of sleep, that's really, really good. I average about 8 hours, give or take. Depends on if I got to get up early or not. But sleep does be very, very impactful, well rested. Now, and then the question that I didn't really answer again, do women need more than sleep based off what I've said? Now, this is just research. Research doesn't show all the facts about women needing more sleep, but women do get slightly more sleep on average than men. It starts at a young age. Then through their same sleep needs, teenage girls seem to get less sleep than teenage boys. And then in addition, teenage girls tend to complain of insomnia more frequently. When women become first-time mothers, and this is what I'm saying now, where women have newborns and kids, they often care for newborns throughout the night more frequently, which means less sleep at the beginning. But as their newborn gets older, they understand sleep patterns. That newborn knows how to sleep and don't get interrupted. Now their bodies, they're tired, right? Because they're tending to their newborn on average throughout the night. So now they're getting the much needed rest they needed because they couldn't have it at the beginning. They're tending to a newborn. And this is, again, that study's just going for folks, for my ladies who have kids, right? That's why I would say women towards the later end, they will get more sleep than men. So that way their bodies can get the rest, the prior rest that they need when it comes down to it. So the whole end game of it all, to everybody in our audience out there, be sure to get enough sleep. Sleep is so important. I get cranky if I don't get enough sleep. Sleep is very, very valuable. It is very, very needed. It is very, very precious to us human beings and to animals and out there in general. But to human beings, sleep allows you to function the way you need to. So I'm always going to be a big advocate for sleep. Sleep is important. Sleep is important so we can be able to function and we can be able to play the video games that we want, Speaking of video games, Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out this week. We might buy it here for the studio so that way we can review it for sure. We hope that everyone, if you're into the gaming community, the reviews came out for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it seems like it's having some great positive reviews with the stealthiness, the samurai, the next story of Assassin's Creed. So I'm very, very excited. I'm very, very excited to see what this game has to offer. Assassin's Creed Shadows looks like it's going to be really, really fun to play. So it might be something that we might dabble in for sure. Stay tuned. We'll let y'all know. Stay tuned. Now, we've got a next kind of study But this is a question, another open-ended question here on the Bro Code podcast. Landmark study reveals whether men or women are more generous. Now, there's been research out there involving hundreds of people shed light on which is the fairer sex, male or female, or them and they if you're non-binary. We're gender neutral on the show. But one of the largest studies out there, its kind has revealed a key difference on how generous men or women are. I want to add non-binary if you identify non-binary for this too, because we are open source here on the show. But let's just go based off the research that we've been reading this week now. It said in research, women with characteristics are significantly more generous than men, according to research published by Polis One. Now, the study involves more than 1,000 adults who took part in the study based on the dictator game. Now, this game is often used in experiments by psychologists and economists. Kennedy, those are tongue twisters there. You try saying that 5 times fast. Now, the experiment saw a player filling the role of a quote-unquote dictator, giving them about $8.30 and asked how much they would like to share with a second player. Now, within that second player has chosen a random from a pool of participants. Now, the quote-unquote dictators did not know who they were paired with or if the recipient was a male or a female. But they were told that when it was their turn to be the recipient, they would be placed in a different place with a different person, with lessened the chance of decisions of being influenced by each other, right? Now, in the study, on average, research found that women age away more than men. In fact, the most common decision from men was to not share anything with their partner, while women tended to split the money 50-50. Women gave 40% more than the man on average, attending to give $3.50, while man gave $2.50 within this research game. The researchers said that the gender differences were mandated by reasoning ability, personality traits, and emotion. They found 2 character traits previously influenced generosity: openness related to curiosity and tolerance to change, and the agreeableness related to empathy. Women in this research, they showed a stronger reasoning ability where linked to be less generous, the research observed. Very, very interesting within this study. It's it's actually a good experiment. It's interesting because a lot of people think they like to be generous. I tend to like to be generous, Kennedy, to a certain degree, right? I do think there is a way of being too generous to where you're giving a lot away. You don't want to be too generous where you're giving your bank account away, quote unquote, right? There's sometimes you kind of have to hold on to what you got, right? Because if you just give the store away for free because you're overly generous, then you might be surprised that people might take advantage of you for that. Now, what surprised us in this story is the relative big difference between the men and women. Most existing studies show small or no differences in generosity between genders, I would say. But they did not have a number of observations that the research had within the study. So it's quite interesting. It's a very, very good study for that as well. You just got to be careful out there. There are people who are not generous at all, right? I think generosity comes with a lot of thinking, right? Again, it's the same thing if you become overly generous, you got to be careful because, again, you don't want to give the store away for free, but you want to be generous enough, right? My generosity, and I guess I could say this, generosity kind of comes in, let's say if you're traveling, right? And when you're traveling on vacation, you're going to a very nice restaurant. It is very, very generous to tip, right? We've talked about it for years and years. Me and my partner, we talk, hey, tip, because we might be in a good space, but hey, they're busting tables. Let's tip them. Let's be generous in that, right? Because we understand the hustle and bustle because we were in that circle before, right? So it's very, very interesting to tip. It's very generous to tip. It's very generous to help those in need if they need it. Again, there's a difference, right? It's a difference to help somebody in need than to help them and they don't help themselves, right? I've had it to where I've helped people before, but they didn't want to help themselves because they were leaning on us to help them a whole lot so that way they don't have to do the hard work, right? You want to be able to help them, but allow them to help themselves too, right? There's a thing, generosity goes a long way, but you got to be careful. It's like the same saying, don't take the kindness for weakness. And unfortunately, that's what people do. You're generous and you're helping and you want to be a helping hand, but then they don't want to help themselves. And then they kind of bash on you. They take advantage of you. And then you start to realize, hey, you're not really a good friend, right? So it's just one of those things you do have to watch out for. I recommend you guys watching out for that as well. So there is a thing about being too generous. You just got to be careful. So that's going to wrap it up here on the Bro Code Podcast. We hope you all like this episode. We'll be back more next week. We're going to do more episodes of the Bro Code Podcast next week as well. We haven't done a whole lot of episodes of Bro Code Podcast because we had other things coming up. Like Kennedy's new movie, of course. One of the producers for this one. Syndicate is available right now on Wasm is the app where you can stream TV shows and movies for free. We have it in all our link descriptions on our social media. Syndicate is the latest film from K.L.P. Entertainment and Kennedy Lucas Films, along with our buddy Grand Apollo Films. Guys, check that movie out. You don't want to miss it. The third installment of Eden Prime. I watched it. Very impactful. Of course, I watched it so many times because I'm one of the producers of the movie. So, of course, I know what happened in the movie, but this is a good one that you guys don't want to miss out on. And if you tune in to What Had Happened Was with our producer, Kennedy Lucas over there, and Evelyn Letitia, check them out. The new episode has dropped yesterday. Great episode. You do not want to miss out on that episode because it is a fantastic good episode. So we hope everybody enjoyed the weekend. We'll catch y'all back on Monday with the new episode of the Bro Code Podcast. I've been your humble podcast host, Terry Towers Lester. We'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.
It's that time again. Main Man T. Back for the Bro Code Podcast. Produced by Kennedy Lucas.